Killua Zodic, one of my personal favorite anime characters. But what if he was in another anime called High School DxD? Well, that's what we're going to be seeing in this first part. Roll that intro, Mr. Editor. Thank you.
Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Now, I do apologize to y'all about this. I told y'all I was gonna be getting this what if done last week, but stuff changed, so now I'm getting it done today on Monday. Well, it's Monday for me. I don't know if it's maybe late Sunday for anybody else who's in another country. But yeah, so when I originally recorded the um, original part, I didn't think anything of it at all. I didn't think it was gonna get almost 600 views, and mind you, it has no audio at all. It still has 600 views, so that means y'all were interested in seeing a what if like this. Now, y'all, back then, I was a way more interesting type of content creator. I made, you already know I made interesting content back then. But now I've matured, obviously, because you can hear it in my voice. And I'm serious about this stuff now. Now, this is going to start off pretty normally. So, Killua is born as normal into a a normal class family. He's not a Zoldyck anymore since he's actually he's born into this birth. So well, yeah, he's still a Zoldyck. They're just nothing special. He's just born into a new he's born naturally into the verse. Not no reincarnation stuff or anything like that because it wouldn't really make sense. But yeah, so Killua is born into the DxD verse. He's still himself for the most part. There's nothing really changes. He's still just that person who wants an actual friend that won't attack him. Because yes, he still does go through that crazy training because his family are still assassins. They're just not, special. They're just not a special family that everybody in the whole world knows about. They're just a secret family of assassins. So they still want Killua to be a part of it. But Killua has no interest. He has no actual interest in killing people. He will kill a person, but he has no real interest in just doing it because he can. So yeah. So he still has his normal journey, and this would lead into his high school years. For the longest, Killua would have pretty average high school years. He is great to be good, and he would make a few friends here and there. But generally, he would stay to himself. Until one day when he was in 10th grade, he met a kid named Issei Hyodo. Issei was the completely opposite of him, but Killua liked him because he was goofy and generally a good person in the end. So they would generally just start to hang out. But then, this is now we time skip to a year later. Issei's in 11th grade, and Killua is also in 11th grade. And yeah, Issei eventually gets a girlfriend somehow, which Killua still doesn't realize. Don't really still wondering who would date someone like Issei. And Issei clearly shows how converted he is at all times, but he doubts it, and he just glad his friend has a girlfriend. Since Killua, he's interested in girls, but not to the point to where he's crazy like Issei. So Issei dies as normal, but there is someone who was watching this entire thing happening, it was Killua and Konako's mom. Because, she watched the entire thing go down. But yeah, but this time, Killua is also watching it, but nobody knows this. So yeah. Oh, actually, yes, Konako does know this. So she appears to him, knocks him out pretty easily. Then he's taken back to the Code Research Club where he gets slapped awake. Yes, I know that's rude, but yeah, he gets slapped awake. And then Rias says, "What do you know?" Killua, being the intelligent person he is, and not willing to just give up information, because we clearly saw what happened to him in Hunter x Hunter when he disobeyed his family. He got the crap beaten out of him. And that was, that little training arc when going, and, Kurapika and everybody had to, train to get their strength up so they can open up the doors to see him. But yeah, so basically, yeah, Killua would get pretty much tortured because he wouldn't say anything because he didn't have to say anything to her. So yeah, so for the longest, Killua stays in the dungeon thing. They would continue to shock him with over 1,000 volts of electricity. And the surprising thing is that it doesn't really affect him that much. So then Rias would tell Akano to kick it up. As once again, she cracks it up to 1,500, still doesn't kill him. Now, Rias already knew there was something wrong with him from the beginning because no human can take that many volts at all. We can't take. At most, we can take maybe about 8 volts without dying. So that much electricity going into your body isn't natural. But she tells Akano to double it as Killua gets killed. Yes, that's pretty early. He becomes, what piece would I even make him? I guess he would become the other rook for the sake of this. So that means real Spicer doesn't get turned to a devil, so that's a good thing. But yeah, so he becomes the second rook. So he remembers everything that happens. So he doesn't actually do anything. She locks him in the room, just like Gasper. Actually, yes, in the same room as Gasper, except that he gets put in he obviously gets his own bed and stuff. But yeah, but unlike Gasper, who just did nothing, even because Gasper has all the OP powers in the world, we still don't know all of them. But yeah, but with his newfound devil powers, Killua would begin to train hard because he wants to eventually enact his revenge on Arias for turning him into that monster that he is. Because he's unlike everybody else. He didn't want to become a devil. And I'm not making her seem like an absolute jerk, but to be fair, you had two options. Erase his memory and tell you she had two options. Erase his memory and he tells her everything, then erase his memory. Or do that to him, and she chose the bad one. So this is when Killua would begin to experiment in lightning magic. How? Simple. There's tons of books in there, and it talks about all different types of magic. And while he's in there, he would begin to get his lightning reserves up. Gasper will be watching all of this, not knowing what he's actually eventually planning, but he is willing to help Killua do it. So eventually, Killua would find some old yo-yos in there. He would notice that they're metal, so he knows that they're older yo-yos, so he would them again to like swing them all around and everything and produce electricity in them. He thinks this is probably one of the coolest things he's done so far. But that's nothing to what he's gonna eventually be able to do. So now we're out of where we now leave Killua's perspective as we now go to Issei. Everything goes pretty much as normal, and Issei is still the perverted devil that nobody likes. Let's just be honest. He's still the same. Nothing. He does wonder one thing: where his best friend is at. Rias eventually says she never heard of this. So Issei begins to just believe that that was his imaginary friend or something crazy like that for the longest. So as Killua would just continue to train his electricity abilities and everything like that. So yeah. So eventually, we now get to the rating game. Rias still has her normal courage, but she does one thing. She notices she still isn't strong enough when she's long enough to open the door that has Gaspers and Killua locked in. So she doesn't do anything about it because she knows it isn't the right time for that. So the rating game would go on as normal. Issei would say Rias, pretty much the normal stuff. So this is when Rias realized that she's now strong enough to open up the door, and she lets out Killua and Gasper. And this time Gasper isn't the antisocial freak he was in the beginning, to where he couldn't even walk out into the public. So yes, he's actually able to go. And so yeah, thanks to the help of Killua. So now, Rias' purge just needs to train Gasper because Akano can already tell that he has an affinity for lightning magic, but he's also super strong because he gets the strength of the rook. But he's different though. He's way different than Kanako. Unlike Kanako, who's much slower because she has the attributes of a rook, Killua was different than him. He actually has the attributes of a knight as well, which is unusual. But then she would think that he had studied lightning magic because she noticed all the books and everything around the room. So yeah. So yes, he would be a much different devil compared to Konako. But yeah. So this is when Rias would begin to explain to Issei why Killua was in there. Cause she makes up a clever lie that Killua just goes along with because he doesn't want to reveal the truth at the moment. So yeah, so stuff would continue to go on as normal. So yeah, as they usually would, except now Killer was also staying at Issei's house. No, it's not massive yet. That's just his best friend and his parents. Actually, I think he's gone because on the news report it said he was gone. So yeah, and also mind you, being in that room for so long, his appearance has changed a lot. So his hair is probably down towards his back by now, and his physical attributes are much stronger than they were before he went in there. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's only been maybe around a few months since he's been in here. How could his hair? First of all, when you don't cut your hair for a long time, it's gonna grow a lot. It's gonna grow a lot, first of all, and obviously, after months of training, your body's gonna bulk up a lot. So yeah. So it is now time for the meeting of the century, the famous meeting. So yeah, so all the great factions meet up into one. Sona and Reeves' purge were walking as normal. Parage purge, same thing. As they would notice, one key thing. Who was that? Killua would walk up saying, "My name is Killua Zodic. I am a part of the Zodic family. we were a family of assassins. My family cut ties with me a long time ago due to me, due to them thinking I was dead because I fell off of a building. No, I'm sorry, I fell off a bridge. Yeah, then Reyes found me and took me in, basically, he would say. Obviously, Killua was lying like a dog because he doesn't want to reveal that at the moment. Because he still wants to wait a little bit before he does that. So everybody believes him. So when time stopped, Killua was actually still, he unlike anybody else, he's not frozen, surprising everybody else. They understood why everybody else was frozen because they had some special power. But then they noticed Killua's hair would then spike up and his hair would turn completely white, like glowing white, as he's entered his Godspeed form. He says he can't hold this for long because he just learned this while he was training with Gasper. So, um, Rias would tell Issei to go help Bali because he knows that Killua would be able to finish his things faster due to his ability to use Godspeed. Now I know I'm giving him his powers much earlier, but for the sake of this, yeah, he's gonna have them. For the sake of this story, I'm gonna allow this. Now this is gonna be two stories. One is gonna be a more natural and longer story. This is gonna be a more short story. This might be 5 parts of. So yeah, that's why it's much shorter. But yeah, so yeah, Killua grabs Riz, bridles down as he begins to run like at lightning speed, and he eventually teleports into the Code Research Club because how fast he is. He quickly dismantles all the guards with his whirlwind attack as as he saves Gasper and Kanaka. Now he has nothing against Konako at all or Kiba because they literally didn't do anything to him, but he has everything against Akano and Riz because Akano could have helped him and could have stopped first how much drainage they used before he was killed. So he holds a grudge against her deeply. Even though they're both, I just thought that was funny now that I'm thinking about it, because they're both lightning users. But yeah, so eventually everything would go out, play out as normal, and Issei would begin to fight Volley. But when Issei begins to get the crap beaten out of him, this is when Killua would step in. He would strike Volley down with a lightning beam. First, he would put his hand up, lightning would strike him down. He would vanish. As he would then roundhouse kick Volley to let Issei punch him in the face, basically. So as normal, as Volley's about to activate the Juggernaut drive, Son Goku would come in. And this is when, the whole, the famous, infamous, he's related to Goku, Issei would say. But yeah. So as normal, everything else would pretty much play out the same. Everybody would agree on everything. Yeah. It would go as normal as it normally would in the normal show. And y'all, this will be the end of part 1 to What If Killua was in high school DxD. Peace out, enjoy it.